Welcome back to Napa Unlocked.
Notice how he perks up? He goes like this.
Well, it's a gut check.
He's like this, and then he goes like this.
Well, I got to look taller than you. It's important. Otherwise, people wouldn't watch.
Yeah.
Desi, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Can we introduce our guest? Can we get a shot of the lovely Susan Curtis to my left, ladies and gentlemen? There she is. Hello, Susan. Welcome.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Susan Curtis from the Golf and Grapes Foundation for a Cure, ladies and gentlemen, is here. She's a Napa native, local, not a Napa native necessarily, we're going to ask her about that, but a Napa local business person who is our 403B interview, who has a foundation for a cure, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you.
Susan, if I may ask you the first question now, I know a little bit about you. Can you tell us a little bit about your winery first, and then how you got spawned onto the foundation?
Okay, yes, we started our winery in 1997, and we actually started it in the Santa Cruz Mountains, Appalachia. My late husband, Lon Curtis, and I were both executives at Hewlett Packard, and we lived in Saratoga in the Santa Cruz Mountains, Appalachia. And my husband took early retirement from Hewlett Packard to run the wine business, and 6 weeks later was diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor. And life after Hewlett Packard was always going to be golf and grapes. We used to call it the G&G. And so that's where the foundation name came from. After my husband passed away, we founded the Golf and Grapes Foundation for a Cure for brain tumors.
Wow.
And we have our winery. Our winery is Jocelyn Lonan Winery. Jocelyn is my daughter's name, and Lonan is my son's name and my late husband's name. And we're here in Napa. And we love Napa. We love Carmel too.
And you mentioned the Carmel part, because that was kind of where you started in the Santa Cruz and South area. But
yes.
What is the draw now to Carmel?
Well, I lived there for 2 years, and I kind of went back and forth. And I have such wonderful friends there. And they poured my wines at the Masters in the Players tent about 4 years ago at Augusta National, and a whole group of PGA Tour players showed up at my winery. Lucas Glover, Brett Quigley, Charles Warren, and they're wine club members, and they support our events. And so we decided to link it up with the Pebble Beach ProAm. And our thought was, let's bring back the Clambake of old, like the Crosbys used to do, and make it for charity. And so that's kind of how the Clambake came around. And if you look at our logo for the Clambake, it has a golf ball in the clam.
That's the pearl.
That's the pearl.
And what she's saying, just to connect the dots there, the foundation is Golf and Grapes Foundation for a Cure. Where are we? But the event is the Clambake for a Cure.
Clambake for a Cure.
And it is to where does the foundation money go? What does it go towards?
Well, we initially started out, and we were going to do our first event at Mayakama Golf Resort, and we were going to do Tee Off for a Cure. And because of the economy and some of our PGA Tour pros being able to get to the event, we had to push it out. And so what we did was we took all the donations that were made for the Tee Off for a Cure, and we used those for our first Clambake for a Cure.
Now, what year was that? Was that 09 and pushed into 010?
That was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Clambake for the Cure is the main event for the foundation for this year, and it happens to be
year. And this is our third annual.
The third annual, right?
And we're also,
congratulations on that.
Thank you. We're also at some point going to be bringing back the Tee Off for a Cure for brain tumors that we will do in the Napa Valley, in wine country.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the brain tumor that your husband was diagnosed with? It's one of the deadliest types of...
Yes, my husband was diagnosed with a glioblastoma multiforme, and my husband was a health nut. He was a runner. He never ate beef, and we were playing golf at the Napa Valley Country Club, and he just went down to his knees and dropped the flag. He was taking the flag pin out, and there was a doctor in the foursome behind us, and he got in his golf cart, and he came up, and he said, "Your husband's having a heart attack. You need to take him to the hospital immediately." So we took him to the hospital, and he had a full-blown grand mal seizure in the emergency room. And so we knew it wasn't the heart. We knew immediately it was neurological. And the neurosurgeon just came into my husband's hospital room and just said, I don't know any other way to tell you this, but your husband has a glioblastoma multiforme, and he has 3 to 6 months to live, and so he needs to be getting his things in order. And I mean, we were shocked. We were shocked. But I had never even heard of a glioblastoma multiforme, and to try to find information on it was very difficult. And what I did find on the internet was a website that was started by Al Musella, called the Musella Foundation. And Al's in the New York, New Jersey area. He's a doctor himself. He lost his father and his sister-in-law, both to glioblastoma multiformes. And so he's now dedicated his life to providing awareness and research for brain tumors. And as we said, it's one of the deadliest forms of cancer, but it's the most underfunded because it's so deadly and devastating to the family that no one wants to talk about it. It's not like other cancers where you go in and have surgery and you go back to your regular life. Every surgery you have takes more and more of your brain away and who you are, and you start losing your memory and your personality. And it's and because your father has a brain tumor.
Desi and I were both talking about this, that like you said, my father had one, and I think your grandmother, and not in the same detriment, unfortunately.
No.
I mean, for Lawnon, but that's devastating, and and that leads us to kind of where we are now, where much like Al is devoting his life, you are devoting yours in a lot of ways. You kept the Golf and Grapes dream alive, and now so is a lot of the foundation money, does that go towards Al? Or?
It all goes to Al.
Okay.
And we selected Al because we wanted to be able to define where that money went. And if you look at AIDS, years ago, AIDS was a death sentence, just like glioblastoma multiformes are now. But through the ability to put together pharmaceutical cocktails, now it is managed as a chronic illness. And our dream, and there is UCLA has a project going, Dr. Linda Lau, to put together pharmaceutical cocktails for each of the different types of brain tumors. And so our dream is that at least until they find a cure, it can be managed as a chronic illness, just like AIDS was years ago, and people can still live and have hope.
Now, do you know through the research you've done, is it a genetic type of?
That's a good question.
We don't know. We don't know yet.
So
there are different research projects. But the other thing I like about the Musella Foundation is that Al, he is so on the forefront of, the brain tumor causation and that type of thing, that if there isn't something funded that he feels need to be funded, he will take the money and he will start his own research. And so he's been very active, and what we've wanted to support was what Dr. Linda Lau is doing at UCLA. And then I think at Cedars-Sinai, one of the other universities is looking at a vaccination. Which is very promising.
if I could jump in here, in 40 seconds, if you could plug your event and tell us all about all the fabulous things, go.
Okay. It's going to be the most fabulous event. This is our 3rd annual event, and the people in Monterey and Carmel have just embraced us. I mean, our idea was bringing back, the Clambake of old, leveraging off of, what the Crosbys had done. And all of the promotion last year was the Clambake's back. And it's amazing how they have embraced our event. We got a full page in Carmel Magazine. They called and they want to have an exclusive for a full page again this year. We were on Channel 8 news station, and they're wanting to be involved and do a segment on it as well. We're doing it at the Wharf on the Monterey Bay. It's from 4 to 9, and it has beautiful views of the bay, and we're having a chef's Clambake competition.
Oh, wow.
And we have most of the chefs that were involved last year back, and we have a couple new ones. We've got the guy, what's his name? Let me just look here. Luciano Pellegrini from Valentino's at the Venetian in Las Vegas is coming.
Okay.
One of the new ones.
that's-
but-
And where would we go? Where do we go to find out? Do we call you?
Oh, no, you're going to the website.
Go to the website.
Yes, it's Clambake for a Cure. You can go on Facebook.
Okay.
You can go to the Golf and Grapes Foundation for a Cure, which is golf and spell out the and grapes.org.
Okay, and we'll put that
And
up.
we'll have all that up on the
Yes.
screen.
In fact, it's probably
for
up right
everyone.
now.
Right.
We just can't see it.
And you can also go
He
to
doesn't
our
hide
winery,
things well.
JocelynLaughlinWinery.com.
Okay.
And you can go
Great.
buy tickets online, and some people that can't make the event are making donations. There's a place for you to make a donation as well.
Well, thank you so much, Susan. We
Yes,
appreciate
thank you,
it.
and I hope to see you guys
Yeah.
Yes,
there.
we're going to make
like-
it happen.
Yeah, like we said, it's a nice little drive, and then go
Yeah,
down.
it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome. And I'm sorry that this is so much. It's such a short segment here. There's so much to talk about, and it's so dear and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
We mean only the best intentions here. So thank you so much for
Thank
your
you
time.
so
Thank you,
much.
Susan.
We will link you to our Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. So be watching for more information about the Clambake for a Cure. We're going to be right back in just a moment with Miss Becky Tyner. Stick around. Thank you.